Today we're going to be deconstructing another movie sound. This time it's the modern laser charging sound effect from the new Godzilla movies. When he's charging up his beam and it's kind of filling his body and you get this blue light coming up before he fires the actual laser and wreaks havoc. So there was very little information about how this sound was created online, so it was a challenge but a very interesting one. And what I'm trying to do is synthesize this sound with Ableton Live using just stock stuff in the DAW. We have a rising pitch. The timbre is kind of metallic. It reminds me of a cello or a double bass or some kind of bowed string instrument. So there's a few things we've got to consider there. The timbre of the sound itself, the rising pitch and the increase in intensity. There's also a kind of tremolo effect with the sound coming in and out, getting louder and quieter. And you can hear that effect speeds up. So what I was trying was taking wavetable in Ableton, because we can use quite specific oscillators called wavetable oscillators to achieve unique timbres. And in particular, there is a selection of instrument samples here. So we've got piano here, for example. I found that using strings 2 and string 3 in either oscillator gave me a relatively convincing sound. So the first thing we need to do is find out the pitch of the sound. So I'm analyzing it here with an oscilloscope and a EQ spectrum analyzer so I can see what the sound is made of. And you can see from the tuner there that we sort of started at a B, quite a low B. So that's where we'll start with our MIDI. So on wavetable, I will add a MIDI clip here. And I'm going to do quite a low B. I'm going to turn on the headphones so we can hear. That's probably a bit too high. Probably something more like that. And what I'm going to do is just have a roughly 4-bar section, because that seems to be the length of the original sample, and just extend that for the duration. So that gives us the basic timbre, no movement yet. So there's a few more things we have to tweak. So as it's wavetable synthesis that we're using here, what we can do is actually morph through these wavetables. And that kind of movement will replicate the kind of cello-like sound that we're hearing in the video there. So I'm going to set both of these wavetable oscillators to 50% through the wavetable. And I'm going to use an LFO, low frequency oscillator, to very, very slowly modulate through that. So I'm going to set up LFO1 here. And I'm going to modulate by 50%. So we start at 50 and we go up to 100 and down to 0. And I'm going to apply that to both oscillators so we have this kind of parallel movement. But oscillator 2, I'm going to modulate in the opposite direction. So we always have some difference between the two oscillators. So if I select oscillator 2 position and then go for minus 50 this time. We have this constant metallic evolving sound, and that's going to be really useful for the basis of this. So the next thing is going to be the pitch rising. So if I look at the tuner and use my ears, we go up from a B around a B minus B1, and then it seems to go up to about a C sharp. That's where we end with that rise. So if I take envelope 2, because it's not in use, and I'm going to do about 10 seconds of attack time to bring this pitch up slowly. So I'll apply envelope 2 by 14 semitones there. So that's giving us the basic rising of the pitch. Now there's still more to be done. We need to have that kind of tremolo effect of the sound coming in and out and growing louder and louder and softer. So to do that, I'm going to apply a second LFO. Notice I'm turning off retriggering on both of these because with retriggering on, when the MIDI clip starts, it will reset the waveform and reset the phase of the LFO. We want it to just run freely. And I'm using sine wave LFOs because that's going to give us quite a convincing and quite musical movement and organic sound in the way it's moving. So I'm going to try about 0.5 hertz here, so very low frequency. And what I'm going to do is apply that to the amplitude of the overall sound. So LFO2, I'm going to apply here. We need that to be a bit more intense. So let's try 100%. That's a bit too much. If we check the original sound, it doesn't die away completely. So we want to reduce that modulation amount a little bit so we retain some of that underlying sound there. Now, of course, the key element is that that movement is speeding up gradually as the laser charges up and up and up. So to achieve that, I'm also going to use envelope 2, which we were using to modulate the pitch to get it to rise slowly like that. And I'm going to use it to increase the LFO frequency so it gets faster and faster. Now, you've got to kind of use your ears to get this right. So let's just apply about 20% modulation and just hear what that sounds like. I'd actually say that's quite close. The next thing is, if you listen to the sound, you can hear that it sounds like it's always coming through a speaker or it's been amplified. Now, I did do some research about the Godzilla Raw for the modern films, where they played it through a big sound system onto the studio lot. So what you get is a kind of amplification of the sound and then also a reverb. And you can kind of hear that here, although I'm sure it isn't exactly the same technique. But you can hear it's in a space. So we want to recreate that. So definitely we're going to get a reverb. And I want to try and recreate a realistic space. So rather than using an algorithmic reverb, I'm going to use a convolution reverb, which takes what's called an impulse response of an environment and then converts it into a convincing reverb to recreate that space. So I'm going to grab the convolution reverb. And I want quite a large space because it sounds like a big reverb to me. So let's see what real places there are. I think if we go for something, let's try Swedish nuclear reactor. That's a stereo reverb as well. Let's give that a try. And maybe a bit less of the reverb mixed in there. Let's pull that down. And I might just EQ it to take off the low end so it doesn't get too muddy. I can hear already that's a bit too strong and maybe the reverb is a bit too big. So let's pick something different. Let's go for bigger spaces. And I think maybe empty stadium could be good. And let's pull the dry wet down very slightly. Now another thing would be putting it through some kind of amp simulation. So if I come here to amp simulation and grab an amp and a cabinet, in fact I may not even need the amp because it might colour the sound a bit too much, but putting it through a digital cabinet, sort of replicating playing that sound through a large speaker, might just give it a bit more presence. So I'm going to put that before the reverb and put the microphone near off axis and do a 4x10 speaker, so the biggest one we can get here. Now, I think one thing that's lacking is a bit of distortion. If you hear the original, it sounds a bit more lively than that. So we could do that just here in the filter section by changing the type of filter to something like MS2 and turning the drive up here so we can distort it at the filter. One more thing that could improve this and maybe make it sound a bit more organic is by adding some FM synthesis. So in wavetable on both of the oscillators, we can come in here and actually apply some FM. So this will be an invisible oscillator that is modulating the frequency of our main wavetable oscillators that we're hearing. And the effect is, I'll show you, I'll mix it in. We just get a bit more grit in the sound, and you can almost hear the kind of grinding of strings together or something, some kind of metallic effect. That's created some more high frequencies, so the last thing I'm going to do is just use the built-in low-pass filter to take off a bit of that high end. As always with designing any sound just by ear, there are several ways to achieve the same effect. This may not have been how the actual sound was designed for the Godzilla movies, but what I've tried to do is replicate the movement of pitch, the change in timbre, and just get within the kind of general ballpark of the sound. Another approach could be potentially recording the sound of some scraping on metal to get that kind of piercing metallic sound, put that into a sampler, and then process that by increasing the pitch in a similar way. But to get the general movement and behavior and trajectory of the sound, I think this got us quite close. So that's designing the Godzilla laser charging sound effect from the modern movies. Comment down below if you have any ideas for what we might cover next time.